If you want to know the best and fastest way to gain Yasakanis and divine equipment, you are in the right place. With more than 140 hours of experience, I've tested all of the Yasakani farming spots and methods for hours and days to bring you the most efficient ones to save you the guesswork and a lot of time. Following this guide will give you as many as 6 to 8 Yasakanis and tons of divine gear per hourly runs, while also giving you tons of Amrita and gold so you can create godly builds and break New Game Plus early. But for you to have the best experience possible, understanding what Yasakanis and divine gear are the first things that you need to do, so you will know what key items to hunt for later on. Once you beat the final boss for the first time, divine items will start to drop, and they come in a bright green color. Divine items or gear pieces can grant a new set of unique set effects. Regular equipment pieces that did not have any special set effects will now have gray set effects. Like for example here, my Nioh hunting gear pieces will have the gray set effects. And for the sake of the video and to make this guide concise, we are paying attention solely to Grace of Ebisu sets for now. These set effects grants you a whopping 70 additional luck and 20% more item drop rate. So when hunting divine gear later on, you should really save all of your equipment with the Grace of Ebisu effect, so we can set up our optimal luck build later on. One thing to add is that you can't really upgrade divine items past level 160, but you can change their affixes via Reforge as well. So as early as now, you are seeing that the endgame extreme grinding is going to be a thing in Nioh 3. Yasakanis are so vital when making the best late game builds, as these divine accessories can lessen the set pieces requirement by 1, giving the user the freedom to mix and match set pieces when creating unique and powerful builds. Since our farming build uses the ninja playstyle, your main goal when farming for Yasakanis later on is to get your first 1 or 2 ninja type Yasakanis with Grace of Ebisu set effects on them. But the main issue is that a lot of players find the Yasakanis extremely rare, to the point that some players entirely quit the process since they don't know where to farm effectively and efficiently. And of course, I got you covered, since I will be teaching you where to farm, which will save you tons of time. And believe me, I wasted more than 50 hours testing all of the key spots in this game, and only one method shines among all of them. The Yasakani whale farming method is by far the fastest and most efficient way to get Yasakanis in the earliest time possible at post-game. I mentioned post-game, right? So that means we are still in New Game or in Heir's Journey and not in New Game Plus. This method will require the user to loot and check a dead body over and over, and this spot tends to have a higher drop chance of Yasakanis compared to other traditional killing method. With the well method, I can get as many as a whopping 6 to 8 Yasakanis per hour with great RNG, having an average of 5 Yasakanis per hourly run. You can totally see on the screen right now how multiple Yasakanis drop from this method, so you are in a good spot. Access this spot in the final location of the game in the final battle of Edo. And to access this mission again, just play the Sinister's End under the Heir's Journey, not in Shogun or New Game Plus. Once you enter the level, don't activate the first shrine in this area. But for you to have the best experience when it comes to item hunting in Nioh 3, setting up a good farming build is non-negotiable. This farming build aims to have the highest luck possible so you can score more divine items and Yasakani during your farming sessions. But hey Samurai, how can I have the highest luck possible if I've just completed the game? The best way of doing this is building your initial luck set, or the build that you will use when farming your first Yasakanis and divine gear, and more on Yasakanis later. The suggested level for this build is between level 130 and 165. This build takes advantage of the Onmyo magic spells revolving around the ninja playstyle, explaining the high magic stat that I have here. We are not using our weapons directly in all of our farming methods later on, but I do have a level 159 weapon with equipment drop rate plus 4%. This initial luck build is composed of 3 pieces of Suhaya set, so you can take advantage of the easy 100 crucible luck points added to the build. You do have an option to spam ninjutsu in this build, so 3 pieces of Iga Jonin were slotted to the build, so you can take advantage of that 13% ninjutsu damage. I only have item and equipment drop rate chance affixes set on my Suhaya set and on my weapons, since I figured out you lack the materials for Reforge after beating the final boss for the first time. It is better to use divination boards as your accessories with 10% item drop affixes. But if you don't have divination boards, just stick to the ones you have with an additional item drop rate. Set the Guardian Spirit to Ho, since it can give you another 53 additional luck at level 29. If you don't have the spirit leveled for now, it's totally fine. Just level the spirit as high as you can and max it on the go later on. While 2 Scampus Soul Cores are a must here to have the additional 48 luck points it provides. If you follow exactly the build that I have here, you should have a total of 376 total luck, 21% item drop rate, and 18% equipment drop rate. Make sure that all of your titles that increases luck and elemental damage are maxed to get the most damage and bonus stats possible. For my talismans, you only need the Carnage Talisman from Ibaraki Doji Soul Core, since the damage buff it provides increases on Nioh damage as well. Main offensive spells such as the Hellfire, Hellgust, and Hellshock talismans are suggested. The Sodama Talisman is just here for you to have an additional spell at your disposal. Luckbringer Talisman is an absolute must to further increase your luck stat later on. You need huge amount of gold when upgrading later on, so the Wealthbringer Talisman is highly suggested. Make sure that you have the Strider Talisman to increase your movement speed, and this will make sense later on. I'm showing you the required skills on the screen right now, so make sure you follow all of them so you can replicate my results later on. When it comes to ninja skills or ninjutsu, the Thundering, Tempestuous, and Infernal Calamity are the ones you need to slot on this build. Clan protection should be Gamo and Asakura, so you can have plus 25 luck and plus 9% equipment drop rate. And during this recording, I didn't have Asakura active yet. Stock up at least 500 pieces of travel amulets, which you can easily buy from the Sodama in the Eternal Rift, and this will make sense later on. And finally, make sure to turn off your automatic looting before starting the actual method. From the starting point of the final dungeon, cast your Luckbringer Talisman and the Strider Talisman. Do a 180-degree turn and head your way through the well in front of you. Jump onto the well and navigate the straightforward water passageway, and at the end of this path, you will find a dead body that you can loot, which drops at least 100% one Divine Gear. If no Yasakani drop, don't pick up the loot and use your travel amulet to reset the run. This will teleport you back to where you started, so you can repeat the process over and over until a Yasakani drop. When a Yasakani finally drops, get the loot and it will never respawn. Quit the mission so you can start the process once again. And each run usually lasts around 19 seconds with resets and loading times included. Now, I did not track my hourly results when using the initial luck build that I asked you to make. The Yasakani drops that you are seeing on the screen right now are from my basic luck build. And if I do have an estimate, I am getting an average of 2 Yasakanis per hourly run. If I use my optimized luck build, which I will teach you in the later parts of this guide, my highest gain so far in a 30-minute run are 4 Yasakanis and a whopping 6 to 8 Yasakanis per hourly run. If you want to see the full 20 to 30 minutes run for the sake of transparency, I provided an unlisted video in the description showing the whole run. Now, of course, RNG is RNG, and it is completely possible that you can get lower than this in your hourly runs. But as for my rigid testing, I'm averaging 5 Yasakanis per hour. And make sure that you have the exact build that I have so you can replicate these results during your runs. And also, I'm not saying that you cannot get Yasakanis from the other spots that I will show you later on. But my results in all of the other spots that I tested are so abysmal, so I suggest sticking to this one. This is my go-to method if I want to stockpile my Yasakanis when hunting for a better Grace of Ebisu or other graces. But if you want to build an optimal luck build, use this spot to get your first 2 Ninja Yasakanis with Grace of Ebisu to move forward in this guide. And if you are getting value so far, subscribe to the channel. Liking the video and engaging in the comments helps me more than you can imagine. Or consider supporting us on Patreon or by becoming a channel member today. And I appreciate your support. Now that you've learned how to farm Yasakanis, it is time for you to learn the fastest way to farm Divine Gear pieces so you can build your ultimate lock set. The Sign of the Gods is one of the best spots to farm Divine Gear, especially in the New Game Plus or Shogun's Journey. This spot will allow the user to farm numerous restless human spirits located in a secluded section of the Kyoto Imperial Palace Crucible. You can access this spot by playing the Battle Scroll, Sign of the Gods, and by progressing in the area. Unlock the shortcut near the Imperial Palace Ground Shrine and you are good to go. We are still using the basic lock setup that I asked you to make, so prepare for the actual method. Start the actual method by casting the Carnage Talisman, Luckbringer, and Wealthbringer Talisman. Head to the shortcut you've just opened when preparing this spot and access the upper area by navigating the rocky formation in front of you. Take a sharp left turn and enter the nearby structure where the key targets are located, and aggro the first set of spirits in the first room. Head to the next room and position yourself in the middle of the room and cast the Hellfire spell twice. Wait for the spirits that you just kited to group up a bit and take as many targets as you can with your Hell Shock spell, ideally taking out all of the remaining targets after casting Hell Shock twice. Get all of the drops and use a travel amulet to reset the run, rinse and repeat. If you are following the channel, I usually give you hourly farming results in all of the farming spots that I cover in my guides, and I will be showing the results when using the optimized farming build in the later section of this guide. The passageway spot is hands down one of the best spots in the entire game when farming divine items. This spot will allow the user to effectively wipe out samurai vassals, which drops a lot of equipment and gold as well. Find this location in the final dungeon of the game in Edo Castle, or by just playing the Battle Scroll, A Sinister End. Well, take note that all of the spots on this list is still in Heir's Journey or in your first playthrough. Progress in the area until you reach the passageway shrine and activate it to serve as a starting point for this run. But first, we need to unlock a special shortcut that will make this method even more efficient. From the passageway shrine, follow the straightforward hallway and take a sharp left turn and enter the area where the samurai vassals are located. Access the Spirit Vein to access the upper parts of the area, and follow the straightforward hallways that will eventually lead you to a series of roof debris which you can use to access the higher levels in this area. While on the roof, proceed and follow the straightforward path that will lead you into a Lightning Jailer Oni. Skip the guy and access the Spirit Vein nearby so you can glide your way down safely. Navigate the stairs and along the hallway, you will notice a paper talisman that is stuck on the wall. Remove it to unlock a secret passageway and remove the Nurikabe blocking the path. Proceed to the hallway and unlock the shortcut so we can finally start the actual method. Start the actual method by casting the Carnage Talisman, Lock, and Wealthbringer Talisman. Access the shortcut and navigate the corridor. Access the rebuild passageway, and as soon as you enter the next room, cast Hellfire to aggro both of the samurai near you. Head straight to the sleeping samurai and wait for the enemy in front of you to fire his musket. Do a quick right turn past the enemy with the musket and funnel all of the samurai vassals in the corridor. Wait for them to group up a bit and cast a Hell Shock to possibly wipe out all elite vassals. And cast a Hellfire Talisman to potentially wipe out any surviving targets. Get all of the item drops and use a traveling amulet to reset the run, rinse and repeat. The Yasha and Oni spot is hands down the best Divine Gear farming spot before New Game Plus. This spot not only can give you a good amount of Divine Gear, but also allows you to farm soul cores in the process. This is very helpful when maxing out your Guardian Spirits, and not to mention that it has the best hourly gains when it comes to Yasakanis compared to the top 2 and 3 methods in this guide. And as mentioned, I will be showing you my data on why this is the best spot that you can access later on. This spot will allow the user to farm an elite Yasha placed on an ideal spot near a shrine. You can find this spot still in the final dungeon of the game, in Edo Castle or in the Sinister's End Battle Scroll. Progress in the area and activate the White Drawing Room Shrine so we can head to the actual method. Starting from the actual shrine, cast your Carnage Talisman, Luckbringer Talisman, and Wealthbringer if you have it. Access the wooden door near the shrine and head to the garden. Engage the target but maintain your distance and cast Hellfire twice to take out all of the Onis easily. Target the Yasha and cast a Hell Shock to destroy the enemy in a flash. Get all of the item drops and use your travel amulet as usual to reset the run, rinse and repeat. Now that you know the best spots to farm Yasakanis and Divine Gear pieces, it will be easier for you to set an optimal lock build that you can use to make your farming runs even more godly later on. For you to do so, equip any ninja weapon with the Grace of Ebisu set effect of your choice. Level it to level 159 and upgrade it to the highest value that you can reach. The second weapon is an Ebisu weapon as well, and the same thing applies to my ranged weapon. Pay close attention to my item and equipment affixes and make sure you have identical ones. I'm still using our 3 pieces of Sohaya set, while the leg guards have been changed into an Ebisu piece. And so far, this needs to be changed later on for improvements. While I do have a pair of Daikoku-ten Omio hunting shoes for more magic points, followed up with 2 Ebisu Yasakanis. My optimal lock set is far from perfect, but this is the best one that I have for now. And this can get the job very well, and the data will show the results later on. If you carefully follow the Sohaya Ebisu set that I have here, you will have a total of a whopping 447 base luck when in crucible areas, with 32% item drop rate, 27% equipment drop rate, and 10% soul core drop rate. And aside from that, there were no changes in all of the items that I asked you to slot in when we are building the basic lock build. At this point, you can now take advantage of the Sodama blessing when farming for specific gear pieces, like what I have here. Make sure that you set the right Yasakanis, since Ninja Yasakanis and the Samurai ones are 2 different things. I promised that I would show you the farming results data with the optimal set equipped for each of the farming spots that I showed you so far. With the optimized method and optimal lock set equipped, the Sign of the Gods was the least performing spot compared to the 2 that I just covered, giving the user 9 million Amrita, 1.1 million gold, and having the worst count of Divine Gears per hour. It almost took me 2 hours just to get a single Yasakani from this spot, which is a downer. But let me tell you that this spot is one of the best in New Game Plus, which I will cover in a different video. While the passageway spot is always one of the best and most efficient spots in both New Game and New Game Plus, giving the user 18 million of Amrita and 2.7 gold per hour in New Game progress, while also giving you a possible 1 Yasakani per hour and a ton of Divine Gear weapons and armor pieces. If getting weapons, gear, or even earning tons of gold is your priority, this is the top 1 spot for you. The Yasha and Oni spot is hands down the best spot during a player's first playthrough, giving the player 20 million Amrita, 465k gold, and a great amount of Divine Gear gains per hour with a bonus of a ton of soul cores. And as mentioned, soul cores play a vital role when progressing your guardian spirits, so I pay great importance to this one. But the best part is, I am getting 1 to 2 Yasakanis per hourly runs reliably compared to the other spots. And of course, if you only want to farm pure Yasakanis, the well method is no doubt the best one, but you will lose the ability to earn gold, Amrita, and soul cores. But what if you want to know the best setup and methods when farming level 170 Divine Gear? This video will teach you everything you need to know, so click on it and I will catch you on the next one.